In this episode, Hannah is going to answer all of your questions. Enjoy.
Hello. Hello everyone. I feel like every time I make a YouTube video I realise how nervous I get, and I don't know why I get nervous. There is such a big difference from short content and long content, and I don't think I've cracked the code of long content because I don't feel interesting enough of a person to do this, and I hate it. I hate how anxious I get for this. But if you're new around here and you've probably seen my narrator videos and that's why you're here, but my long form content is a bit more about me, and sometimes I feel like that's not interesting enough. I feel like scared to talk. So today I'm answering all your Instagram questions that you sent me. I do try to get people to ask me questions every week and I answer them, so if you would like to follow me over there, you can. We just hit, I can't believe I'm saying this, 100,000 people are, oh my god, there are 100,000 of us on Instagram right now. Do you know how insane that is? Do you know how scary that is? Anyways, I'm gonna answer your questions. Let's go. What made you start your account? I would love to do Instagram as a job. I started my account purely on a whim. I just graduated university, wanted to go into journalism. If you've been in the job market at the moment, you know it's not very good. And even though, sort of flex, I got a first class law degree, without experience, hands-on experience, nowhere wants you. And that's why sometimes I hate university, because I'm like, I put myself in debt because teachers told me in school, you'll go so far if you just get your degree. And then you get to the real world and you're like, they want way more than just a degree. So I spoke to this girl and she was like, I didn't have any experience in like the journalism / marketing place. I started Instagram and it was for like a small business and they seemed to really like that. And basically I was like, running is my only hobby right now. I'd ran London Marathon a few months prior. This could be good to put on my CV maybe if I start an account for just running, because I decided I wanted to do the world majors. Maybe I'll just document my journey doing that. I don't know what happened, but I think it was April I posted the video of me crying during the London Marathon, and pretty much I think that was the snowball effect. So yeah, that is why I started my account. And it's so funny that I used it to put it on my CV as a job and now it's kind of become my job. I don't want it to be the only string to my bow. I think, as I've said on my Instagram, I would really like to get into journalism and stuff. More so for a hobby, I think, because I'm a very anxious person. I can get very attached to like what people think about me, and I think that's not a very good way to be. So I think having something to distract myself from me and just putting myself out there all the time would be a really good thing. Someone said, how will you train for the half Ironman, like the 70.3 Ironman? I'm not training for it. If you haven't seen on my Instagram, basically when I reached 70.3k followers, I decided I was going to do the half Ironman, which is 70.3k, purely on a whim, and I thought it'd be fun to not train for it, which is kind of crazy, but I'm calling it the at-home Ironman because one, I am not paying that much money for a bike. I can't afford the gear, to be honest, but I wanted to do something fun, and I like to show people you don't have to be the best at things to do them. So I thought, why not just go for it? I can run a half marathon. So it's just the bike and the swim. The swim I can do. I think I swam a mile like a few months ago. I'm so delusional. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it well, and I'm not saying it's gonna be easy and pain-free, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I'm basically just gonna bike in the gym, which means I am gonna have the most, I feel sorry for my crotch already. Would you ever want to move to another country? I have before, and I would again. I lived in South Korea for 3 months and Japan for like 8, and it was really amazing to see different cultures and experience it. It's the first time I've ever experienced a country in a way that wasn't just travel, and I feel like there is such a difference between living and travelling to a country. Would I move full time to those countries? I wouldn't. I loved it. There were so many things that were so much better in Japan than the UK, and vice versa. I think sometimes you just miss home, and sometimes you just grow up a certain way where you're accustomed to a certain way of living, and it's hard to adjust. But I think it's different for every person, because one of my friends who came to Japan with me, she's now moved over to Japan. She loved it. She loves the way things are over there, and I think every single person is going to be so different. But if I could move somewhere, you see Australia a lot on TikTok, and everybody goes to Australia, and you see it's like called like big house crisis. I would love to visit Australia. I don't know if I would ever settle there long term though. I don't know if I'd ever settle anywhere long term. I think a lot about the future. I think a lot about my family, and I'm a very family oriented person where when my mum gets older and my dad gets older, like I want to be able to have a space for them where they can come and live with me. So I don't think I'll ever settle too far away from home. But I think I've experienced living abroad. I'm not saying I wouldn't for short term, I wouldn't for long term. I would love to go see Australia, I would love to go to South America, go see like the salt flats and that oasis in, I think it is in Peru. So many amazing things to see. I just don't know if I would move somewhere else. Okay, so someone said, what is your daily routine like as a content creator? And I think this is like a really interesting question, because I'm not sure I like the daily routine of being a content creator. It feels like a whole lot of nothing and a whole lot of mental stress at the same way. Like me going for a run and me sitting down and editing for like 3 hours at a time. Brain doesn't see that as work, it sees it as still that hobby that I kind of picked up. You have a lot more flexibility than most people. My gramps is currently in hospital, and I was able to just go to see my nana and help her out with like her medications and stuff, which my mum wasn't able to do because she's in work. My dad can't do it. Like I've been able to go and do that and have that flexibility to do that. So there are so many advantages to content creation, but I think I haven't got over the mental guilt of, I feel guilty when I go for a run at 1 thinking about people that are in work and can't do that. But a lot of my routine is me planning to do something. I will film myself doing it, I will then sit there and edit it, and maybe I'll do YouTube in the meantime, or I'll have meetings with like because I have management, and maybe I'll have an ad and I'll have to think about a concept for an ad and I'll film the ad. It's very interesting to see how it works, because I don't think I ever would have understood it, but now I'm in it, it's like very interesting to see, oh, like these YouTubes I watch, like when I watch Zoella and stuff, she would have had to submit a little creative concept to the brand first before being approved and then being able to film it, and it's like, it's very interesting. It's just not what I expected to be doing at all. I just haven't found my groove with it yet. Ideally, I would love my routine to be like, just get up, go to the gym, do like something where I feel like self-value, like whether that's journalism. I would love my own business one day, but a girl can dream. And like, I don't know, really make my mark. But yeah, my routine right now, I couldn't even say it, because it feels like I'm stressed all the time, but then I'm not quite sure what I'm stressed over. How is it like living with your parents? I'm in the same boat and I'm really struggling. Me too. It can be really hard, I think, because once you grow up, you've kind of found yourself, and then you are almost very confident in who you are as a person, and then you're living with your parents who are also adults, so you're kind of on the same level with them, but you're kind of not, because you know it's their house, and there's like, they're kind of your roommates now, and it's a really strange vibe, and it can mean that they do things that you wouldn't do if it was your own house, and it can annoy you, and probably the same vice versa. I think trying to just look at the positives and seeing it as a short-term thing, thinking like, I'm here for short-term and I'll take the benefits as it comes, and I will save my money probably more than I would if I was living away from home, and realising once you move out and once you've left, there's kind of that you can come back, but chances are you'll never come back again. And I feel like living at home with your parents is kind of the last bit of, almost last attachment of your youth that you'll have. Like sometimes I think about when my parents, maybe like one day they might sell this house, and I'll only have memories of this room and I'll never step foot in it again. So many people are in that position. I think when I spoke about living at home, so many people were saying like, if you lived in Spain, it is very normal to live at least until you're 30. So I think we're all struggling, but we're all struggling together. Someone said, where do you live? It looks so green and quiet. I'm not gonna dox myself, but I live in North Wales with my parents, as I've just said before. But yeah, I live in North Wales. I don't have the accent. I don't know what accent I have. Some people think I sound Scouse, and then people are like, you don't sound Scouse at all. My accent's very strange. I like living here. I like the greenery. I like the quietness. What I don't like is the small town vibes. If you whacked your camera out in public, people will look at you like you're weird. I do want to move away. I've thought about moving to London and stuff before, but I find that really intense. I don't know if I'd actually like London. So if you guys have any alternatives to London that are close to London, that are nice, I would really appreciate that. I've actually considered Brighton before. If you live in Brighton, is it nice? I might visit. I've thought about Edinburgh, because Edinburgh kind of has that city vibe, whilst also just seeming like, it's just beautiful. I've been to Edinburgh once and I loved it so much. Someone said, I'm curious, what was school like for you? Also love your videos, thank you very much. Where do I start? I was always like a very academic person in school, focused on good grades and stuff, and I think that kind of also came from the fact my friends were like that too. I didn't really like school, to be honest. I couldn't wait to leave. I couldn't wait to go to university. I couldn't wait to get out. I've made friends like for life from that school, and some of my best friends went there. I've known them since I was like 11. Some I've known since I was like 3. I'm kind of grateful for not liking high school, because I know people joke about peaking in high school, but I think especially if you're from a smaller town, you can grow up thinking that high school is like the place. You know, people reminisce about high school, and I think because I didn't like it, I never reminisce about it or miss it. I like the fact that I keep thinking about what's going on in the future. And I think if you didn't like school, that's normal. Like if you don't miss school, that's fine, because I don't either. Like you couldn't pay me to go back to high school. Like you couldn't pay me. I was very much like, do good in school, get as far away as possible. Someone said, was I scared of putting my videos online when I first started content creation? Yes, 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 yes. I think some people really handle it well. Like if you're a really confident person, I don't know if you get scared about posting, but I think the thing that I would always think about is who's going to see it, and are they going to show people and laugh at me, or am I going to go to the gym and when I put my tripod up, is someone going to come up to me and be like, how many followers do I have? And then I have to say I have like 17, and they're going to find that funny. But I think from going in the space of like a year and a bit, from nothing to 100,000, like changed my mindset. And I think I see it from a completely different perspective. Is if it wasn't for the person with 0 followers posting, I would not be the person with 100,000 people posting. And it's only because of that person, well, that version of me, that like took the steps to put myself out there. I'm gonna die in probably 80 years max, and nobody's gonna remember me. So why wouldn't I just live the life I want to live? Because what, like, why would I make my life something I don't want? Still sometimes, I can't lie, I still sometimes get a bit scared when I set up my camera. I'm like, people might come over and be like, what are you doing? Even with, you know, even with the fact I can say like, oh, this is my full-time thing, blah blah blah, like, it can still feel nerve-wracking. I think that's never going to go away for me, probably because I care a bit too much about what people think, and it might never go away for you. But I feel a lot more grateful that I did it. And I think if I didn't start, would I look back in 5 years' time and be like, what could have been? Like, why would you do that to yourself? You don't know what the universe has in store for you, but if you have something in your brain that tells you to start something, do it, please. Someone said, how do you stay consistent with workouts and diet when you lack motivation? To be honest, sometimes I don't. Sometimes one little thing will go wrong and I'll be like, right, that's the day ruined and I won't go for my run, and it happens. I'm not the most consistent person in the world, but I will say I miss a run on, like for example, I missed my long run on Sunday, but I felt, because I was feeling really, really sad, I was on my period, I was really upset the whole day, but then on the Monday I felt better, and the run, there wasn't a run on my plan, but I felt better, so I thought, why not do the run today instead? It's not necessarily trying to like make up for things, but more so like I try whenever I can and I try my best. And I think as long as you try your best and you're trying to make your life better, that's more important than being crazy consistent and disciplined, in my opinion. That's probably why I don't have an insane physique. I don't look like David Lade. I don't have this insane body with abs, but I'm a very happy, healthy individual who will be 80 and can probably move around, and that is what I want from life. I think it's about what you want in your life, and if you want the abs and everything, you might have to be stricter than me, but I don't want to be that person, so I just try to show up whenever I can. And if that means I don't one day, I try again the next. A relaxed approach is my way to staying consistent, because if I beat myself up about not going, it's just not good. It puts me in a really bad headspace. How did I overcome my binge eating? What a question. It took me blooming forever, and I mean forever. I think I was probably about 12 when I started engaging in binge eating. I think because I wasn't always the happiest with my body, that led me to also restrict. And that's where the cycle for me came from. Every time I restricted and told myself I'm not eating sweets anymore, the cravings would come, I would binge, I would feel guilty, I would tell myself I'm starting again the next day, and then I would eat healthy, and then about 5 p.m. I would just raid the fridge. And I almost say it's like a bit of an out-of-body experience. It got to the point where it's like the cravings and the thoughts were so loud. I'd go in the fridge, I wouldn't even like put things on my plate and go upstairs. I would stand there and almost like zone out and just eat. And it was really, really bad, and it hit this peak in 2022. I remember having a few conversations with my mum, like kind of crying, being like, I don't know what's wrong with me, I don't know what is going on with me. And it kind of actually got better during, oh sorry, I keep like crossing my legs. I might bring you down a bit so that I can like sit. It actually got a bit better when I started my marathon training journey, and I think that was because I started to see the value in things of sugar. The thing, like, sugar was this thing I ended up demonising and it controlled my life. And then you start long distance running and you realise, oh, carbs, the things that are evil, are the things that I need to survive on my runs. Sweets, gels, you want to eat lots of carbs before. And so my mindset started to shift, and restriction just didn't exist anymore, because it was like, oh, I'm gonna take a Rice Krispie treat on my run, or oh, I'm gonna take a Haribo on my run. So then it was like I wasn't restricting anything because I was eating everything I wanted, and all of a sudden my problem started to like slowly disappear because I was eating everything and I was moving my body. So I like felt the healthiest I'd ever felt. And I think if you struggle with binge eating, the scariest thing that you can do is stop the restriction part of the cycle, because you tell your brain that unless you restrict, you will go off the deep end and you will binge eat forever and you will just keep eating and keep eating and keep eating. But I think it's the fact you tell yourself you can't have these foods that makes you binge, because you have this last supper mentality of, I need to eat everything now so tomorrow I can start fresh. But what if you just didn't start fresh? What if you ate healthier but also had a treat at the end of your meal? Why does it have to be this all or nothing mentality? So getting rid of the all or nothing mentality helped me so, honestly, so much. Even to this day, I have days where I struggle, for sure, but I've learned to like I've almost learned to know what my triggers are. My triggers are when I'm really tired, I almost want to just eat food for energy, and when I'm sad emotionally, I kind of seek dopamine in food. And yeah, so I have to like identify my triggers and learn ways to kind of control my triggers in a different way. So a cup of tea, going for a walk. I made a video about this on Instagram. I think it was called like dopamine menus help me stop binge eating. Like if you go on my reels page, it's basically where I've got a list of things that when I'm feeling triggered to binge eat, I can do one of these things instead to try and get the same dopamine in a different way. And for me, switching up my environment, whether that's taste, smell, move my body, really helps. Sometimes it's a cup of tea, but like a sugary cup of tea. Sometimes it's going for a walk, listening to music, going for a drive, maybe blasting the Wicked soundtrack and singing along, going to the gym. All these different ways help massively. So maybe think about also writing a bit of a dopamine menu. Someone said, how do you not find it awkward to run in public? I can't get past finding it embarrassing. The fact you're out exercising, the fact you're out bettering yourself, the fact you're running whilst people are in cars. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. I think realising when I pass people exercising, I just assume everyone knows what they're doing. For me, I actually really struggle when cars pass me, because I don't know where to look, and I end up looking directly at the car that's coming to me, and my eyes like go, and I'm thinking the person who's driving this car must be like, this girl is like staring at me, but I don't know where to look. Look at the floor, but I feel awkward. I don't know where to put my eyes. That's something I really struggle with, and I think everybody in some way struggles with something, or maybe finds it a little embarrassing. But I think over time, the more you do something, the less weird you'll find it. I have ran as an inflatable cow on main roads, and the worst thing people did was beep. If you're not running as a giant inflatable cow, I guarantee you there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Someone asked, would I ever do an ultra marathon? I don't think so. Technically, if you run a marathon event, chances are you are going to do over 42k anyway, because you won't follow the blue line. I think I ran like 40 was it like 47 or 45 for New York, because the roads were so massive. I ran kilometres over, so technically I've done an ultra. But I don't think I would sign up to one. I just don't know if it's for me. I think my tummy can just about last a marathon, and I think I might poo myself if I did an ultra, with all the starting and the stopping. The second I stop, my tummy's like, oh, time to go to the toilet. So I have to keep running, like I can't stop. So I don't think I could do an ultra. I don't know if I'd want to. I say this and then in 5 years time I'll end up doing one. I said, how do you feel after a long run? Feel rough, a bit dizzy and breathless? I used to feel the exact same way. The problem was lack of electrolytes. I was not drinking enough at all. And I mean like at all. Like, I felt so sick, nauseous, faint, headache. I had to have 2 electrolyte tabs, well 2 separate with water, for me to feel normal again. So if you feel like that again, after you run, have electrolytes, see if you feel better. If you do, you're not having enough on your run. It was like the worst thing ever. I'm so grateful I found out it was electrolytes before Tokyo, because I had more than enough on the day. What's something you'd like to do someday? I would like to write a book on something, which I can't say right now, but you probably will find out this year. And I would also like to do a business on something that I think is very neglected. Again, I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx it, but those are my dreams. I think I want to feel like I've made a good impact on the world, and so I would like to try and do things like that, but I don't know. I don't have the money to do either of those things at this moment in time. What do I think of when the run gets hard? I'm going to Manchester Marathon soon. Oh my god, good luck with Manchester Marathon. I actually daydream a lot on my runs, which I don't know how I don't fall over, because I daydream all the time. When the run gets hard, I will switch up the music. Last run I was listening to Pirates of the Caribbean, and that was amazing. I had such a fun run, and I could just daydream about stuff. A lot of the time I think about like the finish line feeling, which is so cringe, but the thought, I get so emotional when I've like finished a marathon and crossed the line. When I'm thinking about how hard it is, I'm thinking about how emotional I'll be when I like cross the line and stuff, and it helps. Like, it really makes me go, because I'm like, imagine if this was like your last 200 meters of a race, how would you treat it? You'd probably really go for it and try to finish strong. So sometimes that helps. Some days though, I am just in such a bad way, nothing helps, and my brain is not nice to me. I have been filming for 1 hour 10, so I'm gonna cut it there because I'm trying to make shorter videos, because I don't want to do too many long videos, because I don't know if people like them or if they're too long, or if people prefer like shorter videos. But yeah, I'm gonna do my marathon makeup next, and I think my plan for content is like marathon makeup next. Maybe I'll get Peter in a video and I'll make him do like, we'll maybe talk about how we met and stuff, because I had a lot of questions about that and I did want to answer them, but I thought it'd be funny if we kind of both talked about it together. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support. I saw we hit like 9k on here, and that's insane. That is so crazy. I can't believe it. I hope your week is going really well. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. If you're in the UK, it's been sunny and it's been really lovely. If there's anything you would like to see, let me know. I would love suggestions, because I get so anxious on like starting to talk on here. I'm like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, I don't know, because I feel like my life, day in the life, is so weird and disjointed and it's not normal. I'm like, it must be boring. So if you have anything you want to see, let me know, and I will see you next week. I hope if your marathon training is going super well, and yeah, I will see you next time. Oh, my tummy's rumbling, I'm gonna get some lunch. Okay, bye.